This is Arts Alive. I'm Linda Philippi, and my guests today are Barbara Drake, Deborah Voorhees, and Emily Chadwick, and they're here to talk about the Terroir Writing Festival coming up in April. So welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
Okay, maybe we'll start with you, Emily, if you want to talk a little bit about the history of the Writing Festival and how it all came to be.
Well, in 2009, Barbara and I started talking about a writing festival here in Yamhill County, and 2010 we held the first festival, Terroir Creative Writing Festival, and we were part of a group, a cadre of volunteers who sort of conceptualized the festival and then brought it to reality. And we had, as I said, the first one in 2010, the second one last year in 2011, and we're looking forward to our third one in 2012.
That's pretty exciting. Okay, Barbara, so you want to talk a little bit about what's going to happen this year?
Yeah, we've got a whole group of writers, who are really good, and the name terroir refers to the character of the soil and the weather and so on for vineyards and for wine growing, and so the first year we decided that would be the name of the festival. Sometimes some people have a hard time pronouncing it. We've been called Terrier and
Terror,
but it's terroir, and even that, don't worry about the pronunciation, just get there. But so we don't exactly emphasize place through all the writers, but there is a strong connection. And so this year we have Willie Vlotten, who was the Oregon Book Award winner for the novel this year for his book Lean on Pete. And he calls his presentation Portland Meadows to the High Desert, Finding Inspiration in Oregon, because his novel takes place in Oregon. Mm-hmm. Charles Goodrich, who's a poet and nonfiction writer, and will be doing a poetry workshop, works for the Spring Creek Project. He's the director at Oregon State University that has to do with environmental studies and philosophy. It's connected to the philosophy department. And so that also has to do with place. Matt Love lives in Newport. He's a high school teacher and has published a number of books and has his own press also to do with Oregon history. His newest one is about the bridge at Newport and the history of that, and a lot of other really good things that are local Oregon material. He loves finding out things about Oregon history and so on. He edited sesquicentennial anthology of Oregon writers.
Wow. Okay.
Both Barbara had work in that.
Yeah. And that was great. Chelsea Kane, for a while, was a kind of humorous columnist for the Oregonian, and then she decided she wanted to do something different and proposed a thriller series, which has been very successful. Okay. The Heartsick series of mystery thrillers, and they're really fun. And so she's going to talk about that and how she sort of the history of her.
And are they all based in Portland? I mean,
they are. That's what I was going to say. Thank you for reminding me. So they are based in Portland. So, they're not about the environment, but they're in the environment. So, and I think a lot of people enjoy that. And then we're going to have Evelyn Hess, who's an Oregonian who, with her husband, dropped out to live in the country during, 20, 30 years ago. And it's her story of what that was like. It wasn't always ideal, believe me, but they felt like it was a wonderful experience in the long run. And she and her husband had lived in Eugene. So again, that's in place. We have some local poets who will be reading: Mary Slocum, Phoebe Newman, Lex Runciman, a local novelist, Linda Coleman. We have Windfall authors will be reading from their books, and I'm one of those, I'll have to admit. 3 authors published by a press that focuses on poetry of place. So, and Marilyn Warricks is doing a handmade book workshop. And Leanne Grable, who teaches in the Portland schools, is going to be talking about how she developed her play that was produced recently, Bad Girls. She teaches at I'm not sure what to call it without getting it right, but it's a correction facility in the
okay.
public schools. And
For adjudicated youth.
pardon me?
Adjudicated youth.
Okay, yeah, and she works with them, and she loves them, and she loves her work, and she wrote a play about the girls that she has worked with. So, and she also had a novel come out. So it's got a very Oregon connection, and a lot of it with Yamhill County.
Yeah, I mean, I can really see the thread running very strongly, the theme of place and Oregon. And did you consciously look for specifically Oregon writers?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so this really was about just focusing on Oregon writers.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Right.
this year, too, we have 2 teachers who are presenting, Matt Love and Leanne Grable, and that was also intentional because we wanted to involve the schools.
Okay, so are you doing more of an outreach to younger people, trying to get?
We're trying to. We open it to students from the 7th grade on up,
Okay.
and they get a special rate. And we do have a few scholarships if teachers recommend someone that needs a scholarship.
So when people come, will they be doing actual writing exercises in these, or will they be mostly listening to presentations by writers?
A mix.
Okay. Both.
Variety.
And there are at least 3 things going on most of the time, except for 2 slots where people are speaking to the whole group. So they have a choice. If they
Okay.
want to listen more, they can pick the ones where you listen, and if they want to do a workshop, they can do that.
Okay. Now, are you encouraging people to bring work of their own that they may have, like
Well, for that, we have a reception at the end, and in the past we've had an open mic, and I assume we'll still
Yeah, we'll have
do
an
that
open
again,
mic.
so
at the
people
end.
certainly can bring work, and that's been really fun in the past. We've had some really entertaining
Yeah.
writers who come to the festival, locals and further away, who look forward to reading. Sometimes it's the first time they've ever read in front of a group,
Sure,
so that's really
yeah.
exciting.
Yeah.
Have you heard of any workshop groups that have kind of spun off as a result of this? People getting
Not so
together
far.
at the festival?
It might be.
Yeah.
I was thinking that we need to make a connection there where people can post, I want to be in a workshop messages.
Yeah,
Or we have a
yeah.
workshop that needs somebody else or something like that. So
I know that's one of the things. It seems from listening to people who write that they're always struggling to find a group, a writers group that feels just right. Kind of a nice mixture of being critiqued and also being nurtured and helped, and so yeah.
Well, I actually have received an email from somebody out in the community who said, "Hey, I saw you at the festival. I know you're a writer. I'm a writer too. Maybe we could connect." So,
Oh, that's
so
cool.
that has
Okay.
happened
Yeah.
to me. It may have very well happened, with other people who connected, and we just might
We
not
just
have
don't
heard.
know.
So-
Okay. So is registration open now?
Yes.
Okay.
And if someone is interested, you go to the Arts Alliance webpage. You can just do a search for AAYC, or I don't have the address in my head. But anyway, Arts Alliance of Yamhill County, and then there is a link to the Terroir Festival.
Okay. And people can find all the information.
They can get the registration sheet, mail it in, find out information about the speakers. There are links to all the speakers' web pages, so you can see what they look like, see what their books are.
Is there information on the registration about pre-registering for lunch as well?
Yeah, it's there. You can get a box lunch, and you can pre-order that.
And that
if
has to be done.
It has to be done by
in
the
advance.
23rd.
Is there a specific break built in the middle of the day?
Yeah,
Okay, so people have the choice of either
They
doing the
can go
box
out.
lunch or they can go out.
they can bring something.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't,
So this is happening Saturday, April 14th,
right.
and it's at the community center, the McMinnville Community Center, and the times are,
9 to 5:30.
okay.
It will probably run a little later. Then we have a wine reception afterwards, and
Oh, even better.
And if the open reading, the open mic goes longer, we can go longer. We have that scheduled from 4:10 to 5:30, but last year it went another hour, I think.
Mhm. As long as it doesn't degenerate into a drunken limerick contest, right?
Probably won't.
I'm kidding.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay.
So are any of the people who are presenting this year, are they returning from last year?
One year we had Bill Silverlead, the editor of Windfall, here talking about writing poetry at place, and he's going to be on the Windfall authors
Okay.
segment. But otherwise, we are trying to
Keep
bring
rotating.
variety. Yeah,
Okay.
there are so many writers in Oregon, so many good writers, so we're just trying to bring some variety to the neighborhood.
And what would you say is one of the biggest challenges in producing this writing festival?
Oh, goodness. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work for a small group of people to pull together. And we've done it for 3 years.
Yeah.
But
I would like to see our committee get a little bigger next year, and if you had, say, 10 people committed to 10 hours of work, that would be a good
it's been a great
contribution.
experience. I've learned a lot about arts administration. I mean, about a side of writing that I didn't know about before with my involvement. I mean, it's been really rewarding to be involved.
And we just said this, but I want to emphasize, we want to reach out more to teachers.
Okay.
Some of the people were teachers, but I think we could have more teachers and more students from the schools.
Teachers attending the festival.
Teachers attending, and they're seriously interested in writing students.
Okay.
It'd be great.
Are you what kind of outreach are you doing into the schools?
Well,
are you
we just sent out a letter to
okay.
everybody.
Oh, okay. So
To all the schools in the county. I work for the McMinnville School District, and so, I'm advertising locally, especially. But I know Carla Fox
Yeah.
and I are both contacting local schools.
okay.
So they went out as emails, right? And so we may do some more contact. It's always hard to tell whether it gets to the right person, but we did send out a lot of messages. So
Okay. Well, hopefully some of them are going to be watching this, and maybe they'll say, "Wow, I didn't get that memo, but I'd sure like to be there." So
right,
we'll hope, huh?
yeah.
Okay. And Deborah, should we go ahead and introduce you now? I know you're a local artist. Do you want to talk a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm a writer and a photographer. I've combined both disciplines. It seems like I've been writing all my life, so writing I would say would be my first passion. However, photography is a lot more visible. And the joining the two of them, I find I like to do a lot of research, a lot of historical writing. I write a lot in my everyday work life for my job and have been.
What do you do?
I work for the Hazelden Foundation.
Okay.
I'm the alumni manager there, and I work in the marketing department. And I'm also a special projects manager, and most of my special projects are around writing and creative work.
Okay.
I used to be the communications manager there, so I kept that part of my job as I moved forward through the alumni relations department. So I do a lot of events,
Okay.
a lot of that kind of thing.
You know, what we're going to do, I think, is maybe take a short break. We've got another guest we need to rotate in because we only have so many microphones to be perfectly blunt. And then maybe you can finish your story and we can talk a little bit about how you came to the festival.